Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 18 of the M&T podcast.
18?
18. That's 2 away from 20 if you're good at maths.
20 is a big one. Wow,
well, as
what a big one.
As it stands right now, 19 might be quite a big one as well.
Listen in.
We talk about what's going to happen in the next podcast. We talk at length in this podcast a bit about...
Try that again.
We clearly drink some wine. We talk at length in this podcast about mental health.
Yeah, very important. It is World Mental Health Day today, and we hope you listen still because it is very, very important to talk about.
And even if you feel as if that's quite a strong subject,
it's not that heavy.
Don't worry, we still get drunk in it as well. Yeah. So it's really not a problem. Anyway, we hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much, or as always, for checking in. We'll see you in the episode.
See you in the episode.
Good luck, everybody. Lol. Saturday. Episode 18. Is it 18?
I don't know, is it? Oh, God, that means we're really close to 20.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
I reckon about 2 weeks away.
Oh, yeah, quick maths. I could do with some wine.
Oh, okay. Let's just dive straight in.
That's the whole point.
This week we have got a bottle of what's called Velo Rosé. Velo, obviously, being French for bike.
Weird, because it's a Spanish wine.
I know, but I think Velo is just generally accepted as the word sort of within Europe it means bicycle, and there's bicycles on the label. And so I like it.
And that's why we chose it today at the shop.
It's organic.
That's why we chose it today at the shop.
Organic wine made with our local grape Manto Negro from the organic vineyards at our finca Son Boy.
Son Boy.
Harvested by hand with a short maceration and a debarbage. I
Elderbage.
tell you what, if anybody... Wow, are you okay?
That's Elderbage.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, and on the top it says Mallorca.
That must mean it's from Mallorca.
Must do.
Lovely. Well, it looks like a nice pink.
It does.
Are we going to get any flavour?
That was it. It didn't say good with fish. Didn't say good for a podcast. It just says there's a lot
Imagine having a wine.
They've really promoted that it's organic.
Oh, okay. It's organic then.
Yeah. Could be shit, but at least it's organic shit.
True. And this one's got a proper cork, unlike last week's.
Oh no.
Which was that glass cork thing.
Glass topper. Gone in the memory jar.
That was weird, yeah. Those beady-eyed folks that are watching on the tubes.
Another new location.
Location.
We're at home.
We are at home, and we are sat in front of our wall of things and stuff. That's memories, random things, pictures, other random things.
I would like that throughout. I imagine that people who do watch this are going to be quite distracted by the wall throughout the podcast.
I'm distracted by the wall.
That was a tough one. I would like to think that if there's something people have got a question about, like what's that or what does that mean, where did that come from, stick it in the comments. Maybe we'll answer it, maybe we won't.
You will answer it.
Ready? Oh yeah, there you go. You have that one, my love.
Oh, actually, it looks like orange. Is this an Aperol? God.
It's got a bit of an orangey colour, isn't it?
Maybe I'm going to get some grapefruit or citrus flavours.
Well, have a sip and tell me. What are you getting?
Well, cheers.
Cheers. Wine glasses at home, love.
Oh, that's fresh because I had it in the freezer. Yes, the wine glasses are our actual wine glasses that came here from Dubai. It's all of our things. We have our things. We're officially done.
It's our first podcast from home since everything arrived.
Yeah.
Because obviously last week we were at Pikes. But also it's the first podcast since we've been through all of our stuff. It's been the best part of a week to 10 days of getting all of that stuff sorted. But we're kind of there.
We are. We just need to, buy a bar.
Yeah, we're going to buy a bar that, again, for those who are watching, will be just here to the right of me. And by bar, we basically mean like a cabinet that's high enough to put stuff
A bar?
on.
Yeah,
Not
it's
a bar
like
to
we
go
could-
behind.
No. Now I kind of want
Although a
that
couple
now.
of stools just to sort of sit at it
Yeah,
would be
that'd
quite
be
nice.
nice. But yeah, so the house is basically complete. How do you feel about that? Because it has been your big thing about, you've not really felt very homely at all.
It's not that I haven't felt homely. It's just that I think that's a big milestone to have all of your stuff here. And it's been a long time coming. And I don't think I realised sort of how much I maybe depend on these things to feel at home as I did. Because I've loved living here from the moment we moved in here.
Lit up my light box. It says La Casa en la Colina.
Which means?
The house on the hill.
Lovely. I do know that you check that with our local Spanish
And Google.
member of the royal family. No, I loved living in here from the moment we moved in. But now that our stuff's here, we said this to each other today, didn't we?
I just feel really comfortable walking around.
Yeah.
And it's just like you're not dodging boxes, which we have been for the past kind of week. And also you just it's just familiar things. And so actually walking around feels normal now. Whereas before you're still kind of like, oh, this isn't really my space.
Yeah, just
but
sort
I
of
think we've got
bare
it right.
rooms and bare walls and sort of like say stuff still in boxes and things. But having all of our stuff, looking in every corner and every little nook and cranny is something that is ours, which...
We had too much stuff.
Yeah, we got rid of quite a lot.
We did. Luckily, we obviously know some people that have just moved here as well and didn't have us. Like, we had way too many, like, glasses and mugs and stupid things like that. So actually, people that have just moved here, I'm just like, do you need some champagne flutes? And they're just like, of course.
If anything, we have got an abundance.
We did have an abundance of champagne flutes. We had 7 rock up and we bought 6 here. So nobody needs 13 champagne flutes.
I'll tell you what,
Quick maths.
if 11 guests turn up,
We don't know 11 people.
all with champagne,
We don't. Well, if they turn up with champagne, I'll go buy some more flutes. But
You know
they've got to
what?
rock up with the champagne.
we'd be
first.
breaking social distancing rules anyway if 11
No, we
people...
can only have 9 people. 8 people show up.
Quick maths.
That's my maths out the window. Fuck. Oh dear. How do you think my week has been?
I think it's been a good week. I think... I'm going to turn this off because it's flashing a little.
That's sad.
I think it's been a good week. I think there's a lot to be said again for the journey that we have been on with our stuff. I think the sort of post-Pikes, everything arriving and just been a nice settling. We say it every week, but with every week that passes, it's feeling more and more normal and life and good. And I think you're feeling, as we go into this weekend, you seem in a really good place, and you seem happy and pleased.
Yeah.
Would that be accurate?
I do feel feel really happy today. I'm like, did I or do I or when I? I do feel really happy today. I feel that I've got more balance in my life and things are going in the right direction. So I'm really happy.
Good, and I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
For the continued progress that you make in sort of your own business and making things happen. So well done.
Getting shit did.
And that, yeah, of course.
I'm good at
What
that.
about me? How's my week been?
Your week, I had to think back then because I had to think like what's gone on for you this week.
It feels like a really fast week. I can't believe it feels like we've come round to doing another
It's
podcast
because
really quick.
We stayed 2 nights at Pike, so we only got back here on Monday afternoon. And then obviously the week goes quite quick and a lot has happened this week and we've done a lot of sorting and a lot of things and you've been very supportive for me this week. And I think that's probably been quite hard on you at times because a lot's been going on and there's, I think you've had to deal with like me crying.
Yeah.
And shit like that.
Love
so
it. It's been years. I'm used to you crying at least a couple of times a week by now.
Whatever. But like you've had to deal with me this week not being in the best place. So I think that can drain you as well, obviously, because
Well, we take on everything as a team, don't we? We
Yeah,
take
we
it.
do.
So if I'm having a shit day or feeling, then I always know that you take on the burden of things, and it works both ways. So, yeah, you've had a sort of a rocky week with the amount of workload and things that you've got going on, and again, continuing to work on your work-life balance and things. And sometimes that means it's a good day, sometimes it means it's a bad day. But I think, as with anything, we take it on as a team.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Well done, us.
I was gonna
That
fist
was weird.
bump.
I know you went up with the bump, and then just as I went with the bump, you turned it into
you
a
know
high
what?
five. And so we went with the ball and socket awkwardness, like if Donald Trump met Boris Johnson and they wouldn't know what to do.
The reason that happened is because I wanted the sound of the high five to come across, and the sound of a fist bump wouldn't. So that's why I changed my mind. But I know you like to know my train of thought.
Okay, so let's do a high five. Now let's do a fist bump.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds
You
flashy.
tell us, guys, which do you prefer? I mean, I wouldn't do multiple fist bumps one after the other.
No, it
that sounds like a very
bit
different
weird.
type of podcast.
Sounds very strange.
How's the wine?
It's okay.
It's got bikes on the label. It's supposed to be the best we've ever had.
No, it is lovely, and actually, we've already bought the wine for next week as well, so that's quite exciting.
We have. Don't give it away.
Basically, we went into a wine shop and got overexcited and bought about 8 bottles of wine.
Well, we're having a bit of a barbecue tomorrow, aren't we?
We are.
Chilled afternoon lunchtime barbecue, because you can't do evening barbecues anymore
too
because it's cold. And so we've got a few people round. We've discussed it before on the podcast. Wine is bloody cheap here, so we were like, let's get some cheap rosé in because it's still very, very good.
The one that we drink all the time.
So good, and it's like €1.79 a
Los
bottle.
Molinos, the one with the windmill on the front.
So good. But we were like, well, let's buy that for
Everybody
our guests.
else.
But we'll buy ourselves a nice couple of bottles for podcast.
And they're like, this bottle was what, £15?
This was €13 this bottle. That's the most expensive bottle
Sacrilege.
of wine, other than Whispering Angel,
It's the most expensive bottle of wine we've bought ourselves.
that we've paid for ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah. Like, excluding Magnums, obviously.
yeah.
But last week's Magnum, we were still drinking the next day.
We were. I mean, we usually say we're not going to stop the podcast until we finish the bottle, but we were done.
I did
last
get
week.
a comment today from Bill, and he was like, you can always tell when the wine hits.
I think our podcast is a very interesting sort of demonstration of
like
what
an
happens.
experiment.
Because when you're drinking a bottle of wine, when you're just having a bottle of wine, maybe each or shared, you don't notice.
Does everyone
feeling-
just have a bottle of wine each, or is it just us?
We're not alone. People won't say it out loud, but we don't care. We record ourselves in multiple different mediums, drinking a bottle of wine. But you never notice while you're drinking it,
That tipping
going
point.
from, as we are a lot of the time, of, let's just open a bottle of wine and, whatever. And by the end, being completely blurry and talking utter shit and just...
Oh, it's great though.
But I think if you watch and listen, it's just because we don't edit this as well. It's just a journey of people getting
Drunk.
slowly wasted,
I like it.
and I think it's really interesting.
Also, sometimes we start the podcast in not the best place. Like there was a week where we started when we were both really tired, or like just woke up from a nap. Like I've started this thinking, oh, I don't think I'm ready, but I know once I get the first bit down me, I'm okay again. So
I think it really shows how much wine,
makes
alcohol
people
generally,
happy.
can loosen you up
Happiness.
and make you happy.
Happy.
See.
We've drank a lot this week.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Where it's been a drinky week. It's been one of those weeks where you're just like, fuck it. Like the epitome of not being balanced.
Oh, there's been zero balance. Well,
No.
there's been no
The
balance.
scales have been well and truly tipped this week, but I recognise it. And
as
I'm
we've-
okay with it.
And as we have said before, that doesn't suddenly mean that next week turns into a detox.
Teetotal.
And we're going to go and like meditate on
You just have
the
to-
beach and
yeah,
stuff.
sorry.
It's going to be that we just slow down a little.
Well, it's just going back to medium. It's not
Yeah.
going the other direction. It is just going back to normal.
Yeah.
You don't have to counteract what
Which
you've done.
means if-
I don't think we could counteract what we've done, because if we went through the desserts that we ate yesterday, we did pretty darn well on the calories.
Yeah.
We
I
had-
don't know why, but yesterday just felt like a day when we needed that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree, and I like it, every new bit of food I got out the cupboard, I was just like, I'm okay with this.
But you know what? I am
Just
actually
inhaling.
I am excited that from Monday, and it's always from Monday, isn't it? But from Monday, we have said we're gonna get into a routine of using our gym, which is now we've got most of it put together already. There's still a few bits to be sort of delivered and put together, but we've got more than enough equipment to be getting into a bit of a routine and sort of walks and things.
And I was thinking that instead of our Thursday work away from home day, because I won't need, like, I don't have to carry a laptop around with me all the time now, we can just go on a hike instead.
Yeah, let's just hike.
Yeah, we don't have to go down to the pub. We can just go on a walk.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Fuck it, let's do it.
Fuck it. So,
and the weather is good for hiking, I would say, at the moment.
At any time of day.
Yeah. You don't have to
just
avoid
put me on
the
the
midday
tourist
set.
board.
Yeah. You can hike at any time of day. So yeah, I am totally with you that this week has been a boozy and sort of snacky and calorific.
Well, didn't we had 2 Magnums each yesterday, not of wine.
No, Magnum ice creams. Yeah, we had 2 each.
Oh, it was so good. And there were the double chocolate caramel ones too.
Well, I had a white chocolate one
I
and
had
a
2 double chocolate caramels.
And do you know what? If that's what you need, then that's what you need.
Sometimes you just need an ice cream day. Lovely. How are you finding the wine?
It is definitely
orange.
Well, it's got the saturation turned up on it, hasn't it, compared to wines that we would usually go for. We like a blush, basically almost white.
Double
But I think it's good. I like it. It's nice. Plus, it's got bikes on the label, so I'm happy.
Do you want to keep the label?
I was hoping that the cork would have a bike on it, but it doesn't. It
makes sense that it's Mallorcan wine and it's about bikes.
That's true.
Actually,
they know what they're doing.
It won a silver medal of the Rosé Championships in 2020. Why? What makes it that good a rosé?
Well, what came first, more importantly? We'll have to research that.
Maybe it's that other bottle we bought. That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I think the talk of sort of us kind of just doing what it is that we needed to in order to be happy leads on quite nicely to a topic that we're going to discuss today, because today is Global Mental Health Awareness Day. And we thought we'd have a bit of a chat about it.
Yeah, and I think, obviously, day of recording is Saturday, 10th of October.
Yep.
And that is World Mental Health Day. And, yeah, we've talked about it a lot. Actually, since last year, really, is when we've taken mental health a lot more seriously than we probably have in the past. I guess, I don't know, are you going to share your shit?
I suppose I have to now.
Yeah, kinda.
No, I think you're right that probably prior to 2019, we were both aware of mental health. But if anything, I would probably be more sympathetic to people who had mental health issues.
Yeah, you can't.
But I would say now I am much more empathetic to people with things that are going on, especially in the world right now. I mean, you read some of these statistics that are going around on social media today, specifically of 1 in 4 people are dealing with something. I would be surprised if 3 in 4 people aren't dealing with anything.
Yeah, I've seen other statistics. It's 1 in 2, and like I actually think it's. I don't think there's a person. Surely there's nobody that's never struggled.
Well, there's no.
Doesn't have to be like a diagnosis.
Well, exactly. And this is the thing that I certainly became very much more aware of, and I think about it more regularly, probably since last year when I went through some stuff, is nobody thinks about it this way when it comes to physical health. You don't go 1 in 2 people at some point are going to get sick physically or hurt themselves in some way. Like everybody will at some point.
Yes.
Everybody will get sick, get a cold, get the flu, break a bone, or sprain an ankle, whatever. And when you have one of those...
Get a headache.
Yeah. And when you have one of those things, you immediately do what you need to do to make yourself feel better.
Take a paracetamol.
Yeah.
Like, for the basic thing of, I've got a headache, you take a paracetamol.
And sometimes...
Or drink some water.
Sometimes you have a headache so bad that it means you need to take a day off work. Or you can't do all of the chores that day, and you need a bit of help from... your spouse or whatever because you just can't face those things. And I just think the world is getting better, but needs to be more accepting that the same thing happens with mental health. Some days you're just not feeling it. And it doesn't mean you have to necessarily be mentally ill or have, like you say, something diagnosed. It can just be things have been a bit shit recently. I'm feeling a bit worried, anxious, concerned, edgy, whatever you want to call it. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody has that sometimes. So do what it is that you need to feel better that day.
There was a very good Insta story that Katie put out today, Katie Cookers, which I copied, basically. And it was like, make a note of the things that make you happy. Make a note of the things that make you sad. I'm going to just find it so I can read the rest. Oh, of course, it's the last thing in my story, isn't it? It says, note what makes you feel good. Note what makes you feel bad. Note where you feel at home and where you feel out of place. And I think that really, you especially, I've noticed that.
I like my safe place.
Note the people who uplift you and support you, and note the people that bring your mood down. And for you, there's loads of points there that I was just like, okay, because actually we've been out at places and you're like, I don't feel welcome here, or I'm not happy here. Yeah. And like that's kind of, it can come from triggered nowhere. Something.
Yeah, it can come from nowhere. But if you're already maybe not in a great place already, and then you find yourself, because you've thought, you know what, I'm going to power through this, and I'm going to go out to that gathering, that get together, or that meeting or whatever. And I've done that, and that can, if you're not already in that great place, and then that sort of magnifies it, it can get to a point where you go, actually no, like I've now at a point, I'm at breaking point, and I need to go to somewhere that I feel better and safe. But again, I just use the analogy of, when it comes to physical wellness, if you've got a bit of a cold and a bit of a sniffle, and you think, do you know what, I can power through with this, and I'm going to go on that night out, or I'm going to go and do that gym session, or I'm going to go to that meeting with work or whatever, and by doing that you put too much stress and stuff on yourself, and it makes you more sick. Nobody would bat an eyelid and go, I've probably overdone it there, I've overstretched myself, and I should have rested and just had some soup and done whatever it is to make yourself feel safe and better and well. And I think I'm getting better, but there's always room to be better at recognizing this is not something that feels good for me and my mental health right now, so I need to do something different, or do something that makes it feel more comfortable.
Do you feel that you like crack on with things to make me happy?
Probably.
Like if we go out.
Probably.
And you're not happy.
Probably, yeah. Because but you would if, I'm going to keep saying it, but you would if you were physically unwell, and you go, do you know what? Maybe I've got like that bit of a headache, or a bit of a cold, or I've got a bit of a stomach pain today or something.
Yeah.
You don't always go, that means I must lock myself in my house and I can't go out with you somewhere. But you just need to be better at recognizing when is this, an hour from now, a day from now, is this going to get worse, or do I need to act in some way? Yeah,
because I'd rather you just say, actually, no, I won't go. And whether that means I don't go too, or you're like, go without me, I'd 100% prefer any of that over you going, or like coming with me or whatever, and then actually it turns out like that you have a bit of like a panic attack, or you feel anxious in the night. I'd rather you just go, you go, or actually I'd really like if you could stay in with me.
I think we're just naturally, and I think this goes probably for all human beings, we naturally want to go, I want to power through.
Like, I don't want to please people as well.
And so it is difficult, and you don't want to go to the other end of going like, and this is where there's a lot of talk about check in with your mates and check in with people who maybe have gone a bit quiet, or have maybe I don't know, anything, don't seem to be sleeping well, or they whatever. Check in with people, because you just never know, do you, who's dealing with something, because we're so good at covering things up and powering through.
And I think obviously because you've been really open with kind of how you were and stuff, and it's not completely gone away, because actually
I don't think it ever does. The more I think about it, I don't think you ever go, I am mentally wellness 100%.
No, I know, but like obviously people, like last year you put out the post and you put it out again today about, you know, taking your last anti-anxiety medicine or whatever. But actually, like since coming here, things have cropped up, but like for you, that's like, oh, I had anxiety, I got diagnosed, like anxiety, depression, whatever.
Yeah.
I got diagnosed, I was given tablets, I went to therapy, this, that, and the other. Whereas like, I guess for like me, I don't ever say that like I have any issues,
and this is
but it's just like actually it's a different thing, but it's still a mental health thing.
It is.
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I think I know what you're trying to say. I think the difference is at some point within the last 2 years, I got diagnosed with something and I was prescribed medication for it.
Yeah.
You don't have to have gone to that level to be actually struggling with something. Just like you don't need to go to the doctor to be told you have the flu.
Yeah.
You get quite good as we grow up in self-diagnosing. You don't have to be going to therapy to say, I'm struggling with something. And I think that's where we're different.
Yes.
You struggle with things. You have your problems with things. We have to work through things together for you just as much as we do me. The difference is that, almost 2 years ago, I got to the point that was breaking point and I actually needed proper help.
But that doesn't, because I feel like a lot of people obviously have their issues. They don't go to a doctor, especially in the UK, because mental health is nowhere near high enough on the top of lists for people. But for like doctors as well, whereas obviously in Dubai, we could get, you got therapy on your health insurance.
On my health insurance, and it was really
good.
High quality stuff as well.
And obviously but in England it's not up there. But
There's
so people do deal with it a lot in themselves, and I suppose that's what I do, because I'm like, I'm never going to go to like a doctor because I feel sad today. Yeah. Like that's me. Like, but you again, got to that point where I was like, we have no other choice.
Yeah. And that was it. Because it was just too much, and I needed to actually get somebody, because I'd never spoken about my own mental health. I wasn't really aware of what it felt like, really. But since going through that, like I say, I think whether you're aware of it or diagnosed with something or whatever, everybody is somewhere on the spectrum at all times, because everybody has good days and bad days. Some people deal with them well, some people struggle with them. Everybody, it can impact anybody at any time, especially with the world as it is right now.
Yeah.
So
talk.
I think it's, and honestly, I know it's really weird, but talk is the ultimate bit of advice I'd give, because I'm crap at talking.
Even if you just like end up like having a cry, like I cry so much.
I think that's probably why you've never had a major breakdown, is you have minor breakdowns.
Have those releases.
You have mini breakdowns about 2 or 3 times a week. Whereas, like, I've always been a bottler.
What do you mean? My Instagram shows that I have a perfect life.
Oh, absolutely. Let's not even get on to how social media impacts people's mental health, because that is a whole other ballgame.
But that probably is, because, like, if you have that release, whether you cry or whether you go to a boxing class or whether you go and smash something up in one of those smash rooms, like, if you have that release, then it does stop you from bottling it up, and that's what I used to be like. I didn't cry for years and years,
and then you opened the floodgates, and you've never closed them again.
But it's actually since I met you, and like, I don't know, like,
well, do you feel comfortable enough that you can?
I guess so. I fell in love.
I broke down those barriers.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
It's like a dam.
Yeah, I broke down that dam, and I'm still trying to put it back together.
I know, panically trying to put bricks back in. Plug it!
Please stop crying. What have I done? No, I think it's good. And you're right. Everybody has a release, needs a release. I think the important thing is, whatever that is, on top of it, do some talking.
Yeah.
Just do some talking.
Yeah, nice.
You suddenly realise you're not alone, and everybody gets it.
You're not alone.
Lovely. So there you go. There's a little bit of mental health talk. We did think it was relevant today to bring it up and to discuss it.
really relevant.
Yeah, and a good chat. And I honestly, I put it in my posts today and stuff. If anybody wants to sort of know more, I am much better at talking about what I've gone through and stuff. And I'm happy for other people to chat with me and just be like, oh, I think I align with some of that.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Let's chat about it. Sometimes talking to a stranger is easier than talking to somebody else. And I've not got much on my plate right now, so if you want to DM me, message me, whatever, I don't mind talking about it.
I did get a mental health question.
Okay, good.
Response. It was, and I want you to answer this first.
Okay.
It was from Ginger Solace on Instagram, who I believe is also on the forum. How did I cope with your, when you were probably... I don't know
when
what
I
to call
properly
it.
struggled.
I don't want to call it like a breakdown because it wasn't.
Well, it was a little.
No,
when
it was
I
kind
had
of a breakdown.
when I had my episode.
It
was like what, February, March 2019.
Yeah.
That's when it peaked.
Yeah, how do you think I coped with that time?
Well, from my perspective, you coped amazingly well because, as we said right at the beginning of this podcast, we share the load, and I could take zero load, like nothing.
Oh yeah, you couldn't do anything then.
I couldn't,
like nothing.
Yeah.
Like cook dinner.
But what was amazing is that you just knew that and you just stepped up. And so from my perspective, you just took it all on. You seemed to do that very well, and I'm sure it wasn't easy to see, your other half struggling with things. And I know that there were times where it probably really, really hurt and you had your own sort of worries and concerns, and you were upset during it.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, from my perspective, you were an absolute rock. You just nailed it.
It was really hard, like really fucking hard.
Yeah, as I'm sure it would be.
You don't like seeing your other half like crying or breaking down, and I'm sure you don't like seeing me cry and stuff, but like actually seeing you, like it was like helpless as well.
Yeah.
It was like you couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
You couldn't think about the tiniest thing, like taking the bin out. Like it was just like, okay, just take everything off your plate.
Yeah.
You were obviously off work for a while and everything, and it was just like, just remove every other thing, and all you've got to concentrate on is like living at that time. And like I was like, I used to call your doctor, I booked all your appointments, and it was just, at points it's really hard. Like when you cry, I cry, and I was just like, oh my God, like I can't cope. And I didn't really speak to anyone about it, I don't think, because I don't speak to people about things. Which is obviously the exact opposite of what we're telling people to do.
Which is not what we were going for.
But yeah, it was really, really hard, and I actually don't know how. Like, because at times you're like, oh my God, what is going to happen here?
Do you know what I see it as? I see it as a massively, massively exaggerated and magnified version of, when you go out and you get drunk.
And you cry.
No. Well, that as well.
Done.
When you go out and you could proper go out with your mates, and say one of your mates gets so drunk that they can't look after themselves, how quickly you can just sober up and go,
God, yeah.
I am looking after you. And all of a sudden, you don't know where that strength comes from, but you just find it. I think it's kind of like a magnified version of that. You just find somewhere the strength to go, I know you can't deal with this, so I'm just going to take it on.
Yeah, it is that finding that strength as well. Because obviously I was working full-time in an office. They were amazing, and I did have time to work from home. And if there were really bad days where I'm like, oh, I just can't leave you today because I don't really know what's going to happen. Like they were really, really good. But yeah, exactly right. When you said it, that sounded perfect. Like you don't know where it's from, but you just it's autopilot. Yeah. It's autopilot. You
don't think about it.
You're like, right, I'm doing all the cooking, cleaning, like I'm doing all the, like, I'm not going to let you do anything. And obviously we had Frank at the time, our dog as well, which was another thing we had to deal with. And it was a load. Like, I like cried enough, obviously, but like you just deal with it, and it's difficult. And like if you are somebody who is a partner of somebody who's struggling, people don't really think about that person, because obviously you think about the person who's actually going through the mess.
Yeah.
So I would say speak to somebody else, which I did not do. I just took the load on. But yeah, just try and speak to somebody, and just like you will just go into autopilot. You don't even have to think about it.
And this is where, as we've said it now a few times, just talk with someone. Whether you feel like you're the person suffering, or whether you think you're the person doing the caring, you should still talk to someone. And I think people just need to be better. And I think generally people are getting better at being able to say to a friend, a family member, or even a stranger, to just say, I'm really struggling with this. I know other people that are struggling more. And I think there's too much of people sort of going, my problems aren't as big as somebody else's, and so I'm not going to say anything because, I mean, look at it. We could say, people could, if they were one of those old school cynical people, could go, what the hell can your problem seriously be? You live in Ibiza, you've got this nice house, you haven't got work stresses, so financially you must be fairly safe, and so you can't possibly have anything going on in your life. And I think too many people think that other people think that way, so they choose not to say anything. If you're having a shit day for whatever reason, have a chat with someone, and you suddenly realise they're probably having a shit day as well. And then you are not alone.
Yeah.
You're not alone, which is definitely the theme song for today's podcast.
I do not speak to my friends when I'm feeling bad.
Why? Why do you think that is?
Because I'm the one that cracks on.
I know, but you know what? That's a dangerous path to go down forever.
Yeah, I know that, but I'd never. You reach out to your boys.
Yeah,
I don't.
Me and the boys will happily say to each other, like, I'm actually struggling at the moment, or it's been a crap week, and we'll go, do you know what, mate? I get it.
I'm bad at that.
I think you've always been in that position of, if you've got shit going on, go to Tiffla, and because you talk so much sense, you're very literal, you're very logical, and you are very mentally strong, that people know that they can rely on you. But I think that means that you think you've always got to fulfill that role. Whereas actually
sometimes... this feels like a therapy session. Jesus.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, I would like to just say one thing, because obviously I've not been to hypnotherapy this week, but I'm going to go next week. But someone messaged me, and I'm not going to say who it was or anything, but they said, I started hypnotherapy for a major anxiety issue I've had for years, all because of you just mentioning it on the podcast.
Oh,
it's
nice.
Absolutely brilliant.
Nice.
So like, someone just like, I'm going to try hypnotherapy now, and it's worked. Or it's helping.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Break down the stigmas that are attached to these things.
That's super cool.
If it works for you and it doesn't hurt anybody else, who cares? Just do it. Make yourself happy.
Yeah, I'm definitely going back this week. I think it's time. I'm very excited.
Good.
Go back.
Good.
Be my best self.
I have just had a question come through live. Do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, go on.
Now, I have no idea whether Jade wants me to answer this question or whether it's aimed at you.
From my sister Jade?
Yeah, she's just messaged me. What is Tiffany's most embarrassing moment?
Well, you can answer what you think my most embarrassing moment is, but my most embarrassing moment for me is being taken home in San Antonio, Ibiza by it wasn't the police, but it might as well have been. It was like street guardians, like they looked after drunk.
You're lucky that they have those people.
Well, yeah, it was a bad day. I'd lost the keys to Ibiza Rocks Hotel. I'd lost.
Thank God you don't still work for them. They'd be listening to this now, going, "What?"
They were. I lost them in reception when I was looking for my room.
Oh, you lost them in the hotel.
So they were at reception the next day. And yeah, I got walked all the way home from Pisces Park. I don't even know how I ended up there. Pisces Park, and I lived in Ibiza Rocks Hotel at the time, and they walked me all the way back.
I guess you weren't embarrassed at the time.
No, but for me now, I think about that and I'm just like, how did I get that messy? And I think that's why now I actually don't get that messy.
No,
I'm really quite good.
Yeah,
I always like to be in control.
Well, yeah. Again, this is part of the thing that is actually.
We're starting to unravel me.
I don't really know if I can think of a most embarrassing moment for you, because you don't embarrass easily, and you just don't put yourself in positions where you might be. But I mean, we've been through this before. Do an impression of a dog now.
Never.
So you won't even woof on a podcast.
Why would I do that? that.
Exactly.
I'm not going to put myself in that position.
You don't even do animal impressions.
I do not do animal noises. No,
Well,
absolutely not.
All right, well, there you go, Jade.
Make a noise like a turkey.
See, and you won't do that. So I don't feel as if I embarrass easily, but I'll do things anyway. The reason you don't embarrass easily is because you don't do anything that might be embarrassing.
That is true.
Because you're boring.
Yep.
Right, what's your question? Go.
I have got one from your sister.
Oh, go
Lucy.
for it. Yeah.
Favourite thing that came in the boxes from Dubai?
Do you know what? And this isn't only because she asked the question,
Oh, Lord.
but it will be the blanket that she made for... Stop it.
I was looking at the blanket, love.
No, you weren't. You were watching the cats outside. Nobody on a podcast cares what's happening outside of our house. I just clicked at you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Oh, caught live as well.
I'll edit that out.
No, bullshit.
Well, I just wanted to get your attention because, as with anything, something shiny caught you, and
You put a giant fucking mirror ball out there, and I could see the reflection of the cats in it.
you're lying. Anyway, my favourite thing that came in the delivery was the blanket that my sister made for us. Weirdly, that's not always been like my favourite thing to arrive, but I think again in sort of
Your
light
favourite
of...
thing was nothing to do with us, not like our wedding jar, our wedding album,
No.
our entire wall.
No.
Oh, fine. Well, I'm going to pick something stupid.
Well, I've got a question for you. So, but anyway, yeah.
My favourite thing.
No. Let me finish talking about my thing before it becomes about you all over again. It's that, and I think it's because of how long we were away from our stuff. That's like one of my oldest. What's the word? Like a heirloom. It's a family heirloom. That
I don't think
she made that for me when I was
I don't think that's an
18,
heirloom,
19,
yeah.
something like that. Well, it's
heirloom is like multiple generations.
how old does something have to be an heirloom?
I reckon my nan's decanter is an heirloom.
Ooh, I did like it when that turned up. Actually,
Well, that was gifted to you.
It was.
You're welcome.
My sister sent me a question asking you, what's your favourite thing on the wall?
Oh, I'm going to have to take a look. The wall is made up of many different memories, and if you check any of our Instagrams, you'll see a picture of it. Obviously, the picture of my mum and dad, because, memories. But also stupid little things like this, because you bought me this. Why is it halfway through? Cute.
Yeah, you are my sunshine.
You bought me a
Little
music
box thing.
I think my favourite thing on the wall would probably be the picture of my mum and dad, but everything on there collectively is incredible.
It's hard on the wall, isn't
wall.
it? Because there's nothing on here that doesn't have some kind of story or relevance behind it.
Yeah.
So, it's very hard to say.
Everything on there is amazing, and there's stupid things like Matt's broken Apple Watch.
Yeah. My broken Apple Watch is on the wall, but it looks cool. I love that it's there.
It does look cool on the wall. Yeah, and there's like a card that I bought you, and you framed it, and pictures of Ibiza sunset that we took. And actually, isn't that the postcard that we sent out for our wedding invites?
Yeah, we didn't take that picture.
Oh, same.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go with the picture of my mum and dad.
Nice.
I like it. I like the whole wall.
So do I. And I like that there's space for us to add things. In fact, we're adding something this week, aren't we?
Something. Yeah, because we actually received fan art.
Is that what we're calling it?
It's called fan, yeah, that's what we're saying.
Well, technically it is someone who just follows us and is a subscriber, and they decided to draw something for us and send it to us.
So they drew us a little, it's like a storyboard.
It's almost like a comic strip kind of thing.
Yeah. Of our moving to Ibiza, and it's so detailed and so amazing. And when we put it up, we were looking for a frame today, but we didn't find the right one. So once it's framed, we'll obviously put it on our grams. But that was from Sue, who's so lovely and emails us and to say that listening and watching and all of that. So thank you, Sue.
Yeah, thanks, Sue.
I love it. I've got to look at it again in a bit.
We love it that much. It's going on the wall.
It is going on the wall.
We don't just put anything on the wall.
That is true.
There are things that we've had for longer that probably mean more in the long term to us that are not on the wall.
Exactly.
So, well played, Sue. Well played. I got a question during the week from Brian. Brian. Long and short of it, he asked, would it be okay if Tiff was a baggy?
Oh, like a football fan of the wrong people.
And who are the baggies?
Oh!
Come on.
No, because I'm now confused with the Magpies. Because we play word associate. Baggies just must be the no. You're shaking your head at me. What?
Desperately hoping that you can figure this one out.
Oh, I can't. This is too much on the spot. Oh, I can't figure it out.
So,
is it Newcastle? No.
No, it's not. So, if people don't know, if anybody is watching or listening to this and doesn't know, I am a Wolves fan, openly, big fan of Wolves.
No.
Wolves' biggest rival, long-term rival, is West Bromwich Albion.
I just said West Brom.
Did you say
Pick it up on the microphone. I just said I said
you?
it must be West Brom.
I
hope that's picked it up because
Okay.
I swear to God I said that. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, their nickname is the Baggies. So I was basically asked, would it be okay if Tiff was a baggie?
Would it be?
It would be. It'd be okay. If anything, I think it'd add a bit of fun because we would just have banter with it.
I thought you were going to say we'd just have like fights, physical fights.
Now that they're in the same league, 2 days a year, we wouldn't be friends. But
it'd be so much fun.
But yeah,
I didn't let you. You bought a new jersey.
Yeah, I bought a new Wolves top.
I let you buy a new
that
jersey.
Hopefully, will be with my mum and dad this week.
Did
and
we
they can bring it with
discuss?
them.
Did we discuss this?
Yeah. Because it
the
was
fact that it wasn't therapy.
I had a budget to get myself something to make me feel good, so I bought a Wolves top. The reason Brian asked, apparently, I can't remember what team he says he supports, but him and his wife are supporters of rival teams, and
I'm not big enough football fan for that. I support who my dad supported, which is Liverpool. I don't know what that means.
Name 3 Liverpool players.
Scholes.
Paul Scholes. Wow.
Did he used to play for Liverpool?
No, he played for Man United.
Oh, I have no idea. But I just
You're a Wolves fan now.
I am. But I just have childhood memories of my dad shouting at the football on the TV and that you just support who your dad supports.
My dad didn't support anybody. My dad's never been into football.
Yeah, so then you chose Wolves.
I chose Wolves because I went to
I do like Wolves. I just feel like they're a bit more of a modern team. Does that make sense?
Well,
they're better on social media.
Yeah.
They're quite, they've got. I don't know. Maybe if I knew more about other teams, they might be the same. But they're just a bit cooler.
Nice.
Is that?
Do you know what? Let's stop there. You just said they're a bit cooler. You just said that about Wolves. Nobody would say that about Wolves.
Oh no.
But they've basically, because in the last few years they've become a much bigger deal.
I
than
do
they
like
used to be.
Nuno. He's a lad.
Who doesn't? The man who's
Traore.
God. Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah. Is he your favourite Wolves player?
Yeah, because he's have you seen him?
Yeah.
And he runs
Real
fast.
fast. So, in short, Brian, I have no problem if she was a baggy. We would have fun with it and the rivalry, but thank God she's not. She is apparently a Liverpool fan, even though she doesn't know any Liverpool players.
I'm not a Liverpool fan.
She is a Wolves fan because of how much I've corrupted her. So, I win.
I do feel corrupted.
Do you have
Good one. I do have
question?
questions. This one is from... Oh, God, here we go. This is from Emma Hunt. She spent the last week catching up on all of the...
Is she caught up now?
Yeah, she's finished. She sent me the line.
She's got a lot of free time, hasn't she?
Clearly. She was, I think, about 10 podcasts behind and she's not watched a single YouTube yet. Anyway, podcast question. I'm watching the David Attenborough thing on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
If land didn't exist...
Fucking hell, Emma.
Would you rather live underwater or in space, and why?
Good question.
Thank you.
Space.
Why?
Because there's no sharks in space.
You made a good question. Shit.
No, I didn't.
I would also live in space because I don't like the ocean.
No.
The ocean freaks me out.
Do you know, apparently... Well, not even
we've got our
apparently.
snorkels.
You can't use those in space.
But I'm talking about the ocean now.
Scientists know more about like our nearby solar system and galaxy than we do about our own oceans.
Oh, that literally, I just shivered.
Because they're just that vast and impossible to explore.
But isn't space vaster?
It is.
More vast?
But we've got 1,000
Telescopes.
satellites and telescopes pointed at everything and people constantly analysing and researching.
The oceans freak me out.
The ocean's terrifying.
It is. I can't even snorkel the wrong side
I'm
of
so
the
glad
rocks.
we chose to live on a small island right next to the beach.
But it'll be like going snorkeling.
I don't mind shallow water.
Shallow water.
I love
I'm okay with.
snorkeling.
Yeah, I like snorkeling.
But the ocean,
When
the
I've had a
open
bottle of
ocean, fucking terrifies me.
Open ocean exhibit.
Finding Dory.
Yeah.
Yeah, nicely done. So good question, Emma.
You know
I
that
love
an
the
octopus has
two.
multiple hearts.
Two. Come on. You quoted Finding Dory.
What
Yeah.
am I?
You are now a beluga whale using sonar.
Echolocation.
You just did an impression of an animal.
Oh,
Yes, there is.
There you go.
There's evidence of what wine does to you.
I'm one of those. What am I?
A beluga whale.
Doing echolocation.
Ooh, I'm picking up something. Ooh.
I'm quoting a film actually, so that's not doing a.
Basically the same.
Okay, well I'm okay with it.
Good question, Emma. I like the imagination behind it. So if we lost the land, would you choose to live under the ocean? I like that there was no option to
under the
live
sea.
on the ocean.
You can't. How?
In a boat.
That'd be like an ark.
Yeah. Have you seen the size of some of the oiled? Have you seen Waterworld as a film?
No, what is that?
Waterworld was a Kevin Costner film.
Oh, God.
Absolute cult classic. Made, I believe, we're
You're not
talking
allowed to like
90s
Kevin Costner anymore.
or early 2000s. And it's exactly that. The world has lost its land. And how does the human
Is
race...
it a film?
Yeah.
Oh, Emma.
Emma, watch Waterworld. Anyway, but if the option is there, I'm living in space.
Yeah, space
Fuck
would be
it.
cool.
I got a question from Tom via Instagram.
Hi, Tom.
Why do you love your G-Shock so much?
Oh.
Because I put a picture up of my G-Shock.
Why do you love your G-Shock so much?
I really do love it. I've got two G-Shocks that are the same. They are, I can't remember the model number, but they're not your typical plastic.
So when I think G-Shock, I think we're like baby G90s.
Yeah.
And I would now probably have one of those.
They're very retro, very cool.
I bet they're really expensive.
They are.
Again.
G-Shocks are
G-Shocks used
deceptively expensive.
to be cheap. Deceptively. But the ones you have are very cool.
Well, they're all metal. So G-Shocks, again, like you say, they're sort of known to be rubber and plastic and chunky and things. Now, I like a big watch, so I wanted something that was big and looked strong and not dainty and stuff. But I loved that they were all metal. So I've got a black one and I have a silver one.
Why did you get the black one?
So the black one, this was a joint birthday present last year. I got money from friends, family and
that's what
everything, and I bought that.
Yeah.
And then the silver one was a gift from work people when I left Apple, which was lovely.
Which was...
Your idea?
Thank you.
Yeah, because again, it's all about you. So I guess I love it, Tom, because firstly, it does only from a small amount of people, but people do say when they see it, I like your watch, that's a nice watch.
People do look at the watch.
Because
But they're also looking at the dinosaur you have tattooed on your hand.
Do you think I bring attention to this arm at all?
You might as well just hold it up in the air the entire time.
I'm tempted to. But yeah, I like that it's a mixture of kind of strong, rugged, but it's quite classy.
Yeah, you're quite classy.
Tom had another question. I think it's not on the wall, but he had seen on Instagram that I have a big poster that has a 3 and then a big Apple logo on it.
God,
the 30.
Which we're trying to
framework.
place, but
And,
they just don't fit anywhere.
It's going up in the office. And just sort of where did that come from? What is that? That was a poster that was gifted to me when I was an Apple employee on the Mac's. I think the Mac hit 30 years.
It says Happy Birthday Mac.
Yeah, so
because I think it says Happy Birthday Matt every time I look at it.
When the Mac hit 30 years old, they gave sort of commemorative posters.
What's your other Apple poster?
It's just an iPhone 10, I believe, with sort of artwork on it.
Not an X.
It's not an X. Like, get cultured. If you come to me and you say, I need an iPhone X or an
I
XR.
hope nobody comes to you and say they need an iPhone
People,
in any sense.
People do. I do still get some messages and questions that are Apple related. And I always go, I no longer work for Apple. Here's their website. Use Google.
True. People could use Google even when you did work for Apple.
I know, and you know, part of the reason
You're
why
going to get the new phone. Oh, shit, there's an announcement this week. Have you bought me a bottle of rosé and ice cream and popcorn?
there's plenty of wine in the fridge, love.
Well, no, because that'll be gone tomorrow.
There is an Apple event on Tuesday. We will be watching.
And I get bribed to watch them.
Yeah,
Actually,
I still watch them.
I absorb all the information better than Matt. But
yeah, you get you've got this weird memory where they'll go through all the specs and the colours and the numbers and the prices and everything, and you just remember it all.
but I've always pretended that I don't like watching. I don't like watching them because then I get wine and popcorn.
Yeah, so we'll be watching that on Tuesday.
Is that Tuesday?
It is. Well, I can say it now because I don't have to not speculate. It's going to be an iPhone announcement, and I will be getting one.
Yeah, it was your turn to get a new phone. That's very exciting.
So yeah, thanks, Tom. Good question.
From Tom to Tim, I have a question for you.
Oh, Tim's done well with his questions this week.
Tim's Googled questions.
FYI, Tim is my father.
Thanks, Tim. Tim, firstly, I do reckon you've Googled these questions to get very interesting questions because they're quite similar but different.
Anyway, what's the question?
What would you like to re-experience again because you did not appreciate it enough the first time? And disclaimer, we did share these questions earlier today because they are quite in-depth.
Because that's a good question, and I think it
needs some thought.
It needs a good answer.
Oh shit, I've not come up with anything.
Oh, okay. So ask the question again.
What would you like to re-experience again because you did not appreciate it enough the first time?
My childhood.
And
isn't that deep?
And I fucking hate you for that because I'm like, oh, that burger I ate.
I'd really like that cocktail I had once because it was really nice and I drank it too quick.
I actually think...
My university years.
Really? University?
Yeah. I think the childhood answer is a good answer, but it's way too deep and I'm not going to go into it.
We're not going into that.
But if I could narrow it more down, I would re-experience my university years because they were just a fucking blast.
See, now I think I've got a good answer, but it actually changes my entire...
Maybe one of your seasons?
It changes my future, exactly. Because if I had taken more time to just have fun in my first Mallorca year, I wouldn't have got the Ibiza job. And so if I didn't get the Ibiza job, I wouldn't have met you. So that's also the next question.
Firstly,
that's the next question.
Firstly, my dad's question is not like, it's just to re-experience it. You wouldn't do it any differently.
Oh.
To me, it's just do it again.
Oh, do it again. Oh, then it's probably like a burger or a cheesecake.
Wow.
No. Oh, like a club night. Yeah.
Which club night?
I'd go to Space.
I'm going to do Tiesto again.
No.
Have you seen Tiesto in Vegas?
No, well, I saw him here too. Actually, in Pasha.
God, you never mentioned it.
Fuck off. Well, you. Anyway, I'd go to Space 2012, just because it's Space again, and it's not Space anymore.
Nice.
I'd re-experience that.
Okay. And
appreciate it more. Well, actually, I think I appreciated it more.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Pretty fine.
I'm sure you probably appreciated it at the time as well. Did you cry? Have you ever cried at club night?
Yes.
Didn't you cry during Opus?
I didn't cry. No, I cried more at Baker Mat.
Oh, yeah.
But I did cry at Tomorrowland.
You know when we saw Baker Mat in Dubai?
Yeah.
That's 3 years today.
No way!
Yeah.
At Sensei? No, hold on.
No. Zero Gravity. With George and the drum.
Oh, Matty Drum. He doesn't listen to this.
3 years ago, today.
Oh, I'm going to have to call George later and remind him. That was a day.
We saw Baker Mat.
But I did... Yeah, I cry... Yeah, I cried at Tomorrowland quite a bit. I cried when I walked into... when we got into the... what do they call it? It was main stage, but it's like the whole whole place. Because there was like loads...
The whole arena.
Yeah, like the whole thing. I cried then. Because I was just like, this is overwhelming.
Imagine how...
This is so overwhelming.
How do you think not only you, but like everyone is going to feel the next time they're able to go to...
Everyone will cry.
One of those types of events.
I think everyone will appreciate... Like, I know people don't get clubbing and nightlife and DJs and things like that.
But there's lots of equivalents.
And that's fine, and there is your equivalent. But I think for me, especially, like, those kind of things... Like, you will just go there and be like, I'm going to appreciate every fucking moment of this.
I'm going to drink it in.
And I will drink.
You will literally drink it in.
But I think people will just be overly appreciative and just remember that time we couldn't do that. Because we've got a lot of friends in the nightlife industry.
We do.
A lot of DJs we know and, you know, just whatever,
yep.
that are really struggling and people are telling them to train in a new fucking job. And you're just like... You
shouldn't have to.
What? And so whenever people can go out and just dance, you can't dance.
No, and I think that's going to be one of those things the next time. It doesn't matter what that event is, whether it's a club night, a dance night, whatever. I think that my equivalent...
A concert, a West End show.
I think, yeah. My equivalent's going to be
End.
to walk into a full football stadium.
Yeah,
and just be like... And I know...
But you like a concert too.
I do love a concert.
Like a band.
I love a concert, and I just love a big arena. There's nothing quite like...
It's just overwhelming. I would get overwhelmed walking into a football stadium because of the atmosphere.
I love walking into a full football stadium.
Because it's just there, like it's in your heart, like you can just
Do you know
feel
the Wolves' last home game in front of a full crowd was the game I went to?
When I was in Saudi?
When you were in Saudi, and I spontaneously flew... to the UK,
yeah, that was so much fun.
And just went and watched a Wolves game. And it's weird because there was people talking about it on Twitter earlier today. That like that's the last time. Like they were on Twitter saying that's the last time we were all together.
That's mad. That was February then.
Yeah, and that I was thinking like because that's a significant game for me because I flew thousands of miles just to go to it. It was a terrible game of football.
It was a bad game.
It ended 0-0.
In the worst hotel.
It was 0-0. Wolves played terribly. There was no goals to celebrate. But
you were in a dive hotel.
It's kind of a it's a significant game to people now because they're like that's the last time we were all together. And
that's kind of cool that you did it.
I was there last time Wolves
That's
played.
a weird story. For us, because I was obviously in Saudi and my kind of contract in Saudi kept getting extended.
Yeah.
And I was just like, just do something this weekend. Whatever you want to do it. And you're like, well, Wolves are playing. And then like originally we were like, okay, what pub are you going to go to? And I'm just like, fly to Birmingham, go.
Just go watch the football.
And I was just like, just do it.
I'm right now, for people watching on YouTube, I'm linking the vlog that I made when I went.
Oh, what?
This is a good vlog.
Good vlog.
It's a good vlog. And I do explain like why I just made the decision to just go.
That was fun.
Do you know what? This is a perfect
You're reaching out
segue,
to me here, yeah.
Perfect segue onto my dad's next question. But the question I got from Tim
I can't answer this.
Was what's the best mistake you've ever made? And weirdly, this wasn't going to be my answer, but potentially that's the best mistake I've ever made.
Why is it a mistake?
Because, well, in a way, at the time that I went, I was really excited. At the time I was flying home, it felt like a mistake because it was a crap game of football.
Oh,
Finished
that's a good
0-0.
one.
But now, months later, I'm so glad that I did because that's the last time.
Oh, you were devastated that was such a shit game as well. Because I remember you messaging me.
I just needed a goal. I just wanted to, because I drank all day. I was there on my own. I met a load of people that I only know on Twitter. I did like a one-man bar crawl through Wolverhampton.
God, that sounds shit.
Do you know what?
And I've been to Wolverhampton.
It is shit. It is shit. But it's mine.
I love it.
And I went to university there, so I was going down memory lane and stuff.
Oh, you went to your old uni house now?
I went to everywhere that I lived when I was there, where I worked. Also, anyway, it felt like it was a mistake to do that because it cost a lot of money and it was a lot of effort.
It did, yeah.
And then it was kind of came to nothing. But now I don't think of that as a mistake.
But can you please say your other answer? Because that was also a good mistake.
Was it? What did
the
I
one
say?
you said this morning when we were discussing these questions.
The best mistake I've ever... I don't think I gave an answer, did I?
You did. You threw away your sunglasses.
Oh, another best mistake I ever made was that on my stag do, I kind of ceremoniously jumped off of a boat. My stag do was here in Ibiza. I jumped off of a boat having straight-oned a drink. And I just dived off of the boat, but I had a pair of Ray-Bans on and I lost them.
And I never let you forget it.
Well, in which case feels like it's a mistake because I lost a pair of Ray-Bans. But for the video alone, it's worth it.
That video is great. And also, the great thing about that video of you, well, a great thing about that time of you doing that is that our friends, the Dysons and Pat Nazemi, were on another boat and they saw you.
Yeah.
And they actually recorded
They filmed it.
you doing that from another angle.
Yeah.
And like, they were just like, hold on, is that Matt?
Yeah.
And then they like zoomed in. And
Yeah.
we actually have that moment from multiple angles.
Yeah. So it's another sort of absolute balls up that I made. But looking
Brilliant.
back, you go, do you know what? It's worth the cost of a pair of Ray-Bans to have that moment.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I'm glad we found a cheaper sunglasses yesterday.
That's cheaper than flying from Dubai to the UK to watch a 0-0.
Oh, God, yeah.
You don't want to know how much that entire trip cost.
I do know. I do the banking. I am CFO.
What's your best mistake you've ever made, love?
I couldn't think of this earlier and I still can't think of it now. But the best, probably, now we discussed our latest story, I just think, I don't really know anything, but I'm just going to go with this one, is that I probably was a bit too serious on my first season. And like, that's probably a mistake.
That's a good answer, yeah.
That's a mistake when you look at it, but actually that got me the team leader job in Ibiza the next year, and therefore I met you.
Yeah. It's weird because
everyone used to take the piss out of me for being so like straight and being like up at 10 a.m. for the shift and like being on time.
You are the most professional person that I know. It's funny, isn't it? Because when we discussed my dad's very good question.
So good.
Is what's the best mistake you've ever made? It's weird because when you look back, if it's that good, then you don't see it as a mistake. So you really have to think, did it feel a mistake at the time? Did you feel as if you did something wrong? And so I think that's a good answer for you. So you feel as if maybe at the time you took that one season way too seriously.
I wouldn't say way too seriously. Everyone in Mallorca would be like, what, Tiff?
But you could have let loose a little more.
Probably, yes. I could have been less serious.
But it was good that you didn't,
yeah.
Because that's what got you the next job, which then led you down the path to be where you are right now.
With you.
Congratulations and well done.
That's a good one. Yeah, really
great
good.
questions, Tim. Thank you so much.
They were good questions. I do wanna question the legitimacy
of the questions.
Wherever they came from. He's your brain.
Definitely Googled them.
Is Tim coming on the podcast?
Well, I was going to say this. So next
Magnum.
podcast, definitely worth making sure that you're subscribing if you're not already,
Let's get Tim on.
We'll talk about reviews in just a second. But next week's podcast, episode 19. Will be my parents will be here. They'll be touch wood. Because we said that before that George and Lauren would be here. As it stands right now, my parents will be here at the Bennett Residencier at La Casa en La Colina.
It's not that difficult. It's Colin with an A.
As it stands right now, I think my mum has said she'll happily she'll sit behind the camera and just sort of like drink along with us. But I think we can get Tim on the podcast.
I reckon.
And so
questions for Tim.
Yeah, we need to put it out there now. Questions for Matt's dad.
Oh my God.
So you can throw them out there, put them in comments on this.
Please.
Start DMing them to us now.
Please DM me because it'll be funnier because I won't tell them what's coming.
Tim is on the
Matt
podcast.
and Tim.
Do you know what? He doesn't have a choice. Tim's
Hold
on.
You can just sack me off. It would be the Matt and Tim podcast.
It would still be the M&T podcast, wouldn't it? Oh, I love this idea. Yeah, you can just sit with my mum. You can just sit with my mum.
Gins in the corner.
And it'll just be the M&T podcast.
It's still the M&T. Why did we not think of that before? I got a week off.
So, okay, we'll let the people decide. Should it be the M&T podcast or should I just sack off Tiff and bring in Tim instead? Let us know in the comments. DM us, whatever it is. Let us know. No. Should it just be Matt and Tim? It could, anything could happen.
Anything could happen. I don't have any more questions.
Neither do I, but I think...
We also don't have a emoji.
Because it's the mental health one, it's the emoji of two people. You know the silhouette? It's like a silhouette
It's
of
like
two
blue
people.
and grey.
Yeah, like bluey grey.
Yeah.
And that generally is seen on sort of social media as...
Oh, okay, yeah, whack that one in.
Yeah, to chat with people and
do it. Lots of people listen and don't. It doesn't matter if you text us it, WhatsApp, put it in the comments, whatever. We want to see it. It takes you a millisecond.
I think what people forget is I see the analytics. I know that...
It doesn't matter if it's a comment though.
No. Stop and listen to me. I see the analytics of each podcast. I know that as it stands right now, and I don't mean to sound big-headed here, but dozens of people... No, we get a couple of hundred
of people listen to this.
There are a lot of people that listen to this.
See?
That choose not to send us an emoji. That's all we're asking for. Just a little emoji.
It doesn't, like, in whatever way either. Like, you don't have to put it on the YouTube if you don't have a YouTube account. You can just head over to our Instagram and send us a message, because you don't even need to friend us.
You don't even need to be following me. And mine is open. It's not even...
Yeah, mine's not private.
It's not
either.
private.
Probably
Last thing that we do need to ask people to do, because there's a couple of weeks left to do this. If you are enjoying the podcast, or even if you're not, but if you're at this point,
or if you like drinking.
If you're 1 hour and 10 minutes in, why you're still listening, I don't know. But if you head on over to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review, write a little review, then you're in the chance of winning a bottle of wine.
We need some words. Have you checked it this week?
I haven't actually.
So we probably have no more new ones. So that's
no. I don't think anything came through this week. So people need to crack on, because as it stands right now, we are going to be sending...
As it stands right now, we're going to send it to ourselves.
Well, yeah. No, there are a few people that have given us some really lovely reviews.
Yeah, there are. We need some new ones though. So if you want to win a bottle of Whispering Angel, head on over to Apple Podcasts, 5-star review, write some words, do the thing, drink your wine, be happy.
Bear in mind, again, that's not a lot to ask. It takes you seconds. It's free to do, and you might win some wine.
Shock.
It's like a free raffle.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Usually you have to pay like a quid for like a line of stickers.
Of 5, yeah.
Stickers? No, they're tickets, aren't they?
They're tickets.
Anyway, thank you very much for a wonderful podcast.
Thank you. I know it started really seriously, but I think that was actually a really good point. Very poignant. And I've enjoyed talking to you this week.
We do talk, other than in the podcast. No, we don't. We save it all.
He's like, don't talk about that. We're going to talk about it in the podcast. But no, it's been a good week. I'm looking forward to next week, because God knows what will happen.
Oh God, I'm already a little bit nervous about
Tiff and Tim, here we go. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, well, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Finish your wine.
Oh, okay.
Down it. Bye.
Bye.